here we are. New style of video. I've got my screen recording going, and as you can see by the title and everything you see on the screen, it is tier list time. And this is like the skill toy plus hobby kind of things tier list, which is why we have things like the fidget spinner and the Rubik's cube, which you could argue aren't really skill toys, but for the purposes of this video, skill toys. So we've got 12 things here that we're going to be ranking, and I'll go through each of those before I start breaking hearts. So first one, we've got the Kendama. These balls and rope make up the beglery, which is like the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh thing you swish around in your hand. Looks pretty cool. Juggling balls. This one's going to cover basically small prop juggling, you know, tennis balls and small stuff. This yo-yo is going to encompass all things yo, so off string, on string, yo-yo-y looking things. Juggling clubs here will cover basically all the bigger props like torches and large prop juggling. Then we've got the classic 3x3 Rubik's Cube covering basically speed cubing, but only the 3x3 will be included in that. Moving on to the Diabolo, and that's going to cover the Diablo. Next, fidget spinner, of course, has to make it on here. It's very, very iconic fidgety skill toy that people do tricks with, so skill toy it is. This next one here, you can see there's a whole bunch of little pictures in there that you probably can't actually see, but this basically encompasses all the other puzzles that aren't the 3x3 speed cube, but that includes all the weird ones like the Pyraminx, the Megaminx, any other twisty puzzle that looks like that. Next we have the tumbler stick. It's got like a million names. I'm just going to call it the fidget turd stick. It's the one that goes like this on the table. Whoop, 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 whoop. Next to that we have the pen spinning genre white square. So all things spinny and penny. And the balisong is the last one. Similar to a couple others, but definitely different in its own right. So now that we have the introduction, let's start chopping stuff up. Alright, so let's get into the tier ranking. Now, where to start? Where to start? Where to start? Okay. Now, where to start? Okay, the reason this stick is at the bottom, it's got like about 5 seconds worth of entertainment value in anybody's hands, in my opinion, before it's old news. I mean, I've seen some people do some tricks, but even the coolest tricks where you roll them across and catch it and things like that, it's kind of lame to me. I'm sorry to all you fidget turd fans, but that's where that one's going. Let's see. I don't know if we should work our way up, but because that'll kind of spoil the S tier. So let's just pick something at random here. Let's go with the yo-yo, because I think the yo-yo is pretty classic. You know, everybody knows what a yo-yo is. Everyone's probably used a yo-yo to up and down or walk the dog at least. You know, it's done its time in the fidget toy saga. So yo-yo is going to start off the C tier. I think it's really cool. Don't get me wrong, yo-yo is pretty cool. But, you know, you need space and it flies around, and if it's windy, the string doesn't do its thing. So, yo-yo, middle ground. Next, let's go for something spinny. How about the pen? Now, pen spinning, see, the reason, okay, this is going to get higher rank than the yo-yo, and I think it's going to sit in B tier. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you're really good at pen spinning, you can do that anywhere. Anywhere that you have a pen, which is, where is there not a pen? Pen spinning, if you can pick that up, make that a cool skill that you have, I think that's really cool to show off. And you can show anybody. And it's cool because everyone else is going to be holding a pen. And then when you do something funky and they try to do it, they're like, wow, that's really hard. So that makes pen spinning cool. Let's do next. let's do juggling balls, which, like I said, covers kind of small prop juggling. And I'm going to put this in the A tier. Here's my reasoning for this. Now, of course, it's just a picture of juggling balls, but I'm trying to, think of the whole span of the potential of these toys, skill toys, whatever. Now, if you can learn to juggle 3 balls, very basic, very simple, doesn't involve the clubs or torches, things like that. If you can learn to do that, that's a skill that A, looks cool no matter what. Everybody recognizes, if you're juggling something, everyone's not like, oh, what are you doing? Like, everybody knows juggling. So if that's a skill that you can pick up, I think that's awesome. And anything that's relatively small you can juggle, that's a cool skill to have. Let's go on to the Diablo, something I made a video on recently, so highly recommend you check that out if you want to watch a beginner try to use a giant yo-yo stick thing. Diablo. I know this is going to upset all of the Diablo lovers, but something about the Diablo is it's so big, and you always got to go outside if you want to do cool stuff with it, and that's just, that's not optimal for something I would want out of a skill toy. I want it in my pocket, come with me anywhere, I can use it anywhere. Maybe I want a skill toy in the bathroom or something. I can't do that with a Diablo. It's big, it's clunky. I know that it takes a lot of skill to get some of the harder tricks, but I don't know, it doesn't look as impressive as some of these other things to me. To me, my opinion, my tier list, to me. Moving on, should we tackle the fidget spinner that's staring everyone in the face? Yes. Fidget spinner. See, this was so popular that it's pretty cool to have as a skill, because I've seen some cool tricks, which really just boils down to people throwing it around. So is it really a cool trick? But everybody had, okay, maybe this will make people mad too. Maybe this whole list will make people mad, but I'm going C tier with the fidget spinner. And this is simply because it was so popular. So if you have that fidget spinner ability to make it look cool skill, I think, should it be D tier? No. Okay, we'll leave it there for now because of its popularity, which shouldn't really make it, but you can do some cool balancy stuff. Yeah, okay, fidget spinner, C tier. It's very popular, it's cool. You can borrow anybody's because everybody has one. What's next? I think we'll take the classic 3x3 cube, because I think a lot of people know where this is going to end up, for me especially, and that is the S tier. First skill toy thing, hobby, majiggy to break the S tier. Definitely the 3x3 cube. This is the pinnacle of good skill toy, cool skill to know. Now, again, this has the familiarity. I mean, everybody knows the Rubik's Cube, right? So if you pick up this speed skill of speed solving, if you pick up that skill, that's very impressive to lots of people. And you can take a cube anywhere. Anyone will recognize it. Everyone will know what you're doing. Everyone will think you're smart, despite the fact that it doesn't take much intelligence to solve a cube, but everyone will think you're smart. So that's a plus. And it's super enjoyable. I mean, of all these things, I think the cube is the first one that I would just pick up off a table and whoop, 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 whoop. It's fun, it's relaxing, it's fidgety, it's cool, makes you look smart, you take it anywhere, everybody's got one, everybody's seen it. S tier, for sure, no doubt, no complaints. 3x3 speed cube, number 1 in my chart so far. Let's go and do the Balisong. This is a very cool one because this is the only toy, well, I mean, debatable. Kendama has a spike on it, but this is the only toy that involves some danger. Now, I think this is, I mean, they're very similar and very impressive. So I think that's going to sit in B tier, right next to the pen spinning pen mod double-ended thing. Darth Maul pen. Now, the balisong, again, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. It's like pen spinning, but it's dangerous because it's sharp and pointy. I mean, you can get the ones that are like the combs if you're like on a first date and you that'd be pretty cool. But again, it's very impressive, and it's got the portability, which is something I think is really important for a skill toy to have, is you can take it everywhere and you can pick it up and not have to do like a setup to, you know, get yourself fidgeting and playing. So yeah, not much more to say about the balisong. That's where it's going to sit. I just don't like this picture, so let's do these twisty puzzles next. Now, as big of a fan as I am about the Rubik's Cube, the non-WCA, which is what they're kind of called, like random twisty puzzle shapes, not as impressive. I think those are going to go make friends with the Diablo in the D tier. And the reason behind that is, I mean, first of all, if you're playing with one of these, everyone's going to say, is that a Rubik's Cube? And then you have to explain that it's not, and it's just not as impressive because nobody really knows how it works or how it turns, and it doesn't have that huge stigma that, you know, a regular Rubik's Cube would have. People might think, oh, that's just an easier version. It's like a hassle, and we don't want to be hassled when we're playing with our skill toys. Also, it's like, from my experience personally, I could solve a 3x3 100 million times a day and not get bored of it, and I'd keep picking it up and doing different stuff. There's so many things to learn, and there's such a big community of it. It's so much fun. But these non-WCA kind of weird, more twisty, wacky puzzles, I get them, they're cool. I solve them once and then I don't really touch it again. So that's why it's sitting in D tier, and I think a lot of cubers would agree with that. 3 things left. Let's get the spinny stuff out of the way. The beglery. Now, there is one tier that looks pretty lonely, and that is the E tier. Now, this will also probably make some begleriers mad, but let me explain. First of all, yes, it looks very cool when it's spinning around fast, but not as cool as a pen spin or a balisong spin, in my opinion. Now, it's just a couple of weights on a string, right? A couple of big beads on a string, and anybody that picks it up can swing it around. I'm not saying that's difficult. I'm not saying that's all that the pros do is swing it around, but it looks similar enough that you could see someone doing a super cool beglery trick, and then you pick it up and swing it around, you're like, oh, I'm doing the same thing. And, you know, it's just got that not as impressive looking vibe to it, in my opinion. And I recently made a video where I made a set of these, and as much fun as I thought I was going to have with them, I just can't find the motivation to learn a trick on something that I just find so meh in general. This leaves us with 2 more things. Now, you know how much I love Kendama, so we'll save that for last. Next up, the juggling clubs, which, like I said, this covers pretty much all large juggling props. So torches, rings, melons, whatever. That's going to be covered with this tile. Now, where do we think this is going to land? We know that the juggling balls are in A tier, so seems fitting to put it in there. But they are going to fall to the D tier as well, joining a couple others. Now, my reasoning behind this, again, it's something that you need more space for, especially torches. I'm not juggling torches inside my house when I'm trying to relax. Now, big juggling props look incredible, look very impressive in videos and things like that when people are filming themselves in their backyard, but it's not a skill necessarily that I think as many people would want to have or need to have. You know, if you can juggle 3 balls up here, you know, you can go to your gym class, juggle some tennis balls. You can, you know, you could be in the office and juggle like packs of sticky notes, and it'd be cool. But the skill to take it up to the level of juggling clubs, I don't think you get much more out of that in terms of a day-to-day hobby kind of skill toy that you'd want to pick up and want to learn. I think there's much better things that you'd want to take with you around the house and play with, fidget with, and learn tricks with. With that, we go to the Kendama. Now, I think a lot of you might know where this is going to land, but it is going to join the Rubik's Cube in the S tier. Now, the Kendama, I think, is at the peak of skill toy, dexterity, balancy kind of things. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. One, Kendama is very portable. Can take it anywhere. No complaints, no issues, doesn't make much noise, things like that. Two, you don't need too much space, it's like reasonable. Yeah, you fling the ball around a bit, but you can use it in a small enough space that it's portable enough. Now, also, the Kendama is something that, so say you have one. I have a Kendama here, and I'm like showing off in front of my friends or something. The Kendama is something that you can give to someone, and after you spike a trick, you can give it to someone, and then they'll try, and odds are it won't spike, and immediately it's like that kind of, you're angry because it didn't land on the spike, but now you want to try it again to land it on the spike because they made it look easy, but you can't do it, but it looks easy, so why can't you do it? So you want to try again. And the Kendama has so much potential in terms of easy, beginner, and then intermediate, advanced, super expert, crazy lines. It's got all the ranges. It could be a toy that you just try to get it on the big cup, which is easy enough. A 5-year-old could do it, but then it gets to like insane expert levels. The Kendama is just all around, I think, a great skill toy, and it tops off the list. Top of the tier, right beside the Rubik's Cube. And those are my picks. That's my tier list. That's what I think, and in my opinion, I know is the right list, but I'm sure there's some disagreeers. I'd love to hear what people would move around, what doesn't belong, what am I stupid about, what do I know nothing about, what should I try, what should I not try, should I throw my cube in the garbage and go buy a yo-yo? These are things I want to know, so I appreciate you checking this out. Other than that, hopefully you're not too mad or salty about any of my rankings, and I encourage you to like the video and subscribe for future fun content. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.